Hello everyone. So Coke Studio Bangla just dropped a track, and as usual, we are here to listen to it with all of you. Um, Special thing to mention over here is that neither Haris nor myself has listened to it completely. Probably Haris was 2 minutes through it, and we decided to start recording this particular video. So this track is actually called Nahubo. I do not know the literal meaning of it, but I do know that it has one of my favorite artists from Bangladesh, Animesh Roy. Animesh Roy, if I'm not mistaken. Animesh Roy is the right pronunciation. Okay. And then there is a female rapper as well who is part of this particular track, Daughter of Coastal. I don't know if it's her name, her band's name, or what, but you guys can let us know. But this track seems to be pretty energetic because the Instagram story that was put for it actually had the label of rock star. So I initially thought that
because
it
it
was,
has Onimush.
yeah, because it has Animesh Roy. So rightly so, I think the label put by the social media team was the correct one. So without further ado, let's get started and then we discuss it
Let's
after.
do it. Let's do it. All right. Three, two, one, play.
Coke Studio Bangla, Season 2.
তোগে সারা না বাসিব কতবার মিশে কুথা রাখব
Very 70s
তোগে
rock
সারা
vibe.
না বাসিব
Also the attires.
কতবার মিশে কুথা রাখব চাই ময়োগে আজি কুয়া দিব মই তনু হাইঙ্ক আমন্ডা কয় না হুব ইনকাকে না হুব না হুব না হুব ইনকাকে না হুব তোগে সারা না বাসিব কতবার মিশে কুথা রাখব চাই ময়োগে আজি কুয়া দিব মই তনু হাইঙ্ক আমন্ডা কয় না হুব ইনকাকে না হুব না হুব ইনকাকে না হুব মন্ডা কয় মোলা মই কুবকি বাইনা কোথায় আর কুবকি মন্ডা কয় মোলা মই কুবকি
The bass is back.
বাইনা কোথায় আর কুবকি মিশে কথা কইতে কইতে মুকুলালে আজি মোলা মাথা মুন্ডু নাই কাকি
Percussions.
না পাবো ইনকাকে না পাবো না পাবো ইনকাকে না পাবো আর ভালা ভালা কথা কইতে না পাবো আর মিঠা মিঠা কথা কইয়া না চাই মন
Lyrics are interesting.
আর ভালা ভালা
I love the lyrics. This is so me.
তন্ত্র থেকে মন্ত্র হয় বাধ্য বাজি যন্ত্র সাতগায় মেজর মতো গ্যাং সোয়াগ জমানো মরিছে জাল ইবা মে ফাকেরেক দিনে দিনে যত ভাল ধরে দিনে দিনে জ্যান করে বেগুন হাতায় ন ফুনি বেগুন বাধায় ন মানি আই করি আই ভাঙি আরে হানি কি হাত আই সালাই নলে নিভাই আরে হানি কি হাত আই আশাই নলে হাদাই আরে হানি কি হাত আজ রাইজো আই রানী আরে হানি কি হাত
না পাবো ইনকাকে না পাবো ইনকাকে না পাবো
I love the way Animesh is singing the chorus.
The energy he puts in is
Nita
incredible.
pale kayo pag taki bocai ji moing ke Nita pale kayo pag taki bocai ji moing ke Nita pale kayo pag taki bocai ji moing ke আর একবার যদি কয় কাউ খালি আছে মই তোলা পাছনি ধিং তাং কে নাচিব মই চিন্তাই থাকিব হুঙ্কাই চিন্তাই থাকিব হুঙ্কাই কালা চামড়া সাদা বাইনা না হুব চাই ময়লা থাকং না ইনকাই চিন্তাই থাকিব হুঙ্কাই চিন্তাই থাকিব হুঙ্কাই কালা চামড়া সাদা বাইনা না হুব চাই ময়লা থাকং না তোকে সারা না বাসিব কতবার মিশে কুথা রাখব তোকে সারা না বাসিব কতবার মিশে কুথা রাখব যাই ময়গে আজি কুয়ে দিব মই তনু হাইঙ্ক মনটা কয় নাহুবো নাহুবো ইনকাকে নাহুবো 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 ইনকাকে নাহুবো 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 ইনকাকে নাহুবো 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 ইনকাকে নাহুবো নাহুবো.
All right. All right. This didn't let me breathe. Yeah, this didn't let me breathe at all. There was so much going on.
Correct, correct. A lot of things going
Oh,
on at the
the
same time.
percussions take it
Hmm.
for me.
Absolutely.
Okay, okay. All right. This is this is hard to digest. Not because of the message. That's something that resonates with us a lot. But what was going on in this track? All right, you go when where I collect my thoughts.
All right. So,
I put you in a difficult position.
it is, but that's okay. I mean, uh, I don't want to go down.
Difficult position. Yeah, difficult position is the story of our lives.
Well, yeah, I think I don't want to share personal anecdotes here right now. Some other day, but yeah, that's
Do
okay.
it.
No,
Do it. Do it.
I think you know that our the group of friends that we have, they always say that whenever Haris wants to tell the story, he goes, "Okay, Ahmad, go on. You tell the story. You will tell it better than me."
Because because such a good storyteller.
I'm not. I'm so not. But anyways, let's talk about this particular track. So you mentioned percussions for this particular track, and I am completely on board with you on that. I think the special mention which I want to make is to one of the instrumentalists. I'm just going through the description. It's Mohammed Faisal, if I'm not mistaken. He was playing the big drums that were in the back.
Yes.
And since this is a youth anthem, those drum beats were actually creating the anthemic feel for me. This kind of beat would resonate with masses, with the youth as well, and you could imagine that because of that beat, it would be played in the cars. It would be the intro track for the concerts. This is the kind of track that generates a lot of energy, and especially because of the big drums that were played throughout this particular track, and I simply love that particular bit. Um, Onimesh, I mean, we have talked about his energy, his stage presence, how he is always engaged. Surprisingly, he wasn't too animated this time around, but I think it was kind of a casual, laid back attitude that they wanted to communicate, or maybe it was coming naturally because of the message of the track. And it was done brilliantly. I mean, whenever Onimesh sings, it goes to your heart directly, irrespective. I think he is being mentioned as the Hajong rock star, which is true. I'm not sure if he was singing in Hajong language as well. Please correct us. But the most unique thing for me about Animesh in this particular track was that during Coke Studio Bangla 1, he was singing at a higher pitch. And in this particular track, the way he began, he was making use of the lower notes as well, which sounded really unique to me and had the essence of youthfulness, the carefree attitude that that you associate with the young people, like um, just don't care about anyone who is around them. The attitude that demands this kind of enthusiasm, or not enthusiasm, the attitude that is required for this kind of track, the tonality that he carried out was actually on point. This is the first time I actually heard Onimer sing this way, which was really refreshing for me. And I think he did justice to this entire track. There's a lot going on this particular track. I want to talk about guitars and the saxophone as well. But you go, and then we talk about, because there's one thing that I
Right.
want to comment.
Right. So I think the way you mentioned this very key point that I was actually thinking about, that Animesh using the lower notes with a lot of power. So the key thing was not the notes but the power behind it.
Hmm.
So I mentioned that during the song that it had this very 70s vibe in terms of
Yeah.
attire, in terms of guitars, in terms of also this is about rebellion,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
This is about rebellion against the norms, the
Hmm.
culture,
Hmm.
the toxic elements of the society.
Hmm.
uh, I thought that it Onimesh played not only a rock star but also this rebellion leader. You,
Hmm.
you know this leader who has a lot of charisma, who is going to this rallies and all,
Hmm. Hmm.
and there you use this deep powerful voices to convey a message, to have that charisma
Hmm.
that enchants the crowd,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And I thought that this was the avatar they tried to make. Maybe it's my interpretation, but again, rebellious leader using that voice which you use to incite
Hmm.
inside the crowd,
Hmm.
so that this is where these notes are coming in, but the way he delivered it with as much power as it needed,
Hmm.
that was
Yes. Yeah.
brilliant, right? Another thing is that when I mentioned the 70s vibe, 70s was an era in the West where there was a lot of rebellion
Hmm. Correct.
against, there was a lot of
Counterculture.
counterculture,
Yeah.
anti-mainstream movement going on,
Hmm.
right? Where people wanted to be free, where people wanted to have their freedom. They wanted to do anything, whatever they wanted, right?
Hmm.
There was a lot of music, there was a lot of dancing, there was a lot of drugs, there was a lot of, with freedom comes some
Of course.
when there's anarchy, when there's like too much of leeway suddenly. But anyways, so this really rebellious zeal,
Hmm.
I felt it. I thought that it had it. But yeah, coming back to the percussions, the zeal behind that speech,
Hmm.
not probably a song, but a speech, was coming from the percussions really well.
Throughout.
That the thumping. I was just thinking that this song probably has been sung live in the studio, in there where all the instruments are being played, especially those drums and percussions. Now, when you are in a setting of an orchestra or a musical setting where all of these instruments are happening, right, and which has proper acoustics, of philharmony or something like
Hmm.
that, right?
Hmm.
These
Hmm.
kind of buildings which are made to have proper acoustics. This studio probably will have that acoustic element for recording, right?
Correct. Good point.
Purposes.
Hmm.
In that particular setting, when all these instruments are being played around you, this there's this magic in the air,
Hmm.
this vibration when there these big drums,
Yeah.
when the strings are happening, every single vibration when it happens around you, it's a feeling that I just cannot describe.
Hmm.
I just cannot describe. I was recently in a setting where there were 300 to 400 people, um, in an orchestra setting. So they invited all the trained musicians in the city to
Hmm.
come and bring their instruments, and then arrange them in a manner that at one end there was choir, at one
Hmm.
end there were
Hmm.
strings, drums, and all the flutes, and everything, and you can be in in the center of the circle and experience that.
Hmm.
And this reminded me of this charisma that can sway you, that can incite you.
Hmm. Correct.
Okay, go on.
No, I think you mentioned the right thing. The I'm forgetting the term used for this kind of setting that many artists just unite together to play a special piece. But anyways, um, the interesting bit about this track was the use of the rapper. We experiences this kind of uh,
Collapse.
collaboration done in Kanayari as well, where we had Kafi Khalil and Eva B. And here we also saw this lady. I'm forgetting the name. It's sorry, what is the name? Daughter of
So it's
Coastal.
written daughter.
Daughter of Coastal. I don't know if what's her real name, but her part was pretty interesting as well, especially the lyrics that she communicated. You talked about the societal norm, and she was actually targeting those bits in her lyrics. I would have loved a bit more of her verses in this particular track. She probably appeared only for a few 30 seconds or so, if I'm not mistaken. But her part was really hard hitting. Um, I actually felt that there was a small transition that happened with Flute and Esraj. It
Yeah.
was for me personally, it was a tad bit diverting or tad bit more than required, maybe just for me. I would have appreciated electric guitar riffs a bit more instead of, let's say, saxophone or Sraj, because when we talk about electric guitars, they are not generally, but they are actually at the forefront, and they're used to create that rebellious fervor in the anthemic tracks. Or maybe I'm just thinking it in a more usual manner. But when it comes to anthems or generating the rebellious energy, I usually listen electronic guitars a bit more. The riffs are crazy, and I would have also probably appreciated listening it more over here. Maybe they'd done it intentionally. They had a small guitar solo at the end, which was really done well. It was actually a good bit.
Absolutely.
I was actually expecting the chorus to begin, but to my surprise, it did not happen. The chorus was actually not thrown at that moment. It was just simple transition done to the guitar solo, which was really handled well, which I actually loved about that particular track. So yeah, that's just that transition felt a bit off to me. Maybe I would listen to it more. I would get accustomed to it, but yeah,
For me, that was a fun part, actually. That little transition where he said, "They will call me the bad boy. They will
yeah.
call me a bad boy."
Mhm.
Right? That was a fun part. So, first of all, coming back to the daughter of Coastal, um, while Onimesh was the rebellious leader, the
Mhm.
daughter of Coastal was an individual rebellious kid or girl,
Yeah.
right? Her verses bars
Mhm.
were telling that Chittagonian girl born with a gang swag, this
Mhm.
cheeky mouth chick,
Yeah.
she's a lonely crack. Um, so her verses was about a girl trying to or has broken the shackles or
Mhm.
rebelling against
The
the
norms.
norms of the society and all, right? So she played that part, an unusual
Mhm.
rebellious kid, and Onimesh was the rock star, head of the movement
Mhm.
of that rebellion, right? Now, in the middle part, the transition, uh, where he was talking about now they are going to call me a bad boy,
Mhm.
right? That was a fun bit for me because
Lyrically for
I
me as well.
thought that it, I thought that it was an internal monologue, an internal dialogue,
Mhm.
So this was mostly around Onimesh talking to the crowd or to the society in general, but then suddenly he also had this inner dialogue that, oh my god, now they're gonna call me a bad boy. you know not in a meek way,
Mhm.
but just an internal
Mhm.
dialogue he was having with himself,
Mhm.
and I thought that that was very cheekily done.
Mhm.
Yeah, in the context of the music and song, yeah, if you don't know the lyrics, if you haven't followed the lyrics, it might come across that okay, there was a break in the transition, but yeah, in the context of the story,
Mhm.
I thought that was very cleverly done.
Lyrically, it resonated to me as well because when listening to the bit um, sung by Onimesh, it really, I mean, it pulls you in. Suddenly, there is a change that happens, and probably you are right. Just to induce that particular emotion, or just to throw you off a bit, they might have done it intentionally. That particular bit with Esraj, with flute, but I would have to just go back and listen to it again and just experience it again to understand it better, maybe. But yeah, I think this is all from my side. I think this track would be played in cars, as I mentioned before, by the young people of Bangladesh. Um, and I feel that,
I just want to mention.
yeah,
Yeah,
go on,
sorry. Go ahead. Go
go
ahead.
on, go on, go on, go ahead.
So I just want to mention that more than the track and more than how it's gonna be played and what kind of him, I love the fact that what they are trying to do.
Mm-hmm,
They are giving weapons to the youth. They are giving tools
mm-hmm,
to the youth. Not weapons. I think that's a very wrong
mm-hmm,
word to use here.
mm-hmm,
But they are giving the tools, the correct tools to use to stand up against the what does it say? Who deny giving into standards set by others, who don't believe one has to submit to the things on conditions applied to be deserving of love. This is
mm.
so relatable. This
Yeah,
conditional love. If you would have good grades, you would be my good
yeah,
kid. you
yeah,
know
yeah,
if you study well, you would be my good kid. If पढ़ोगे लिखोगे ना बनोगे नवाब, you would be the good kid. This
mm,
conditional love that the society has conditioned everyone, especially the parents and the family around.
mm,
Parents and this parent kid relationship is should be unconditional, but now the society has put so much pressure that even that purest form of relationship has become conditional.
mm, mm,
So this is what I'm trying to say, that what they are trying to do here stands out to me more than the song, more than the arrangement and the music and whatever. The tool is, they are empowering youths,
mm, mm.
right? And this is how you empower. This is
Yeah,
how you empower. You don't empower youth by giving them weapons, as I wrongly use a word, right? As we have seen in other nations.
mm.
You don't empower youth by inciting them to violence. You empower them through art.
To art, correct.
And this is the brilliance of Coke Studio Bangla.
Mm.
This is the
Hands down,
brilliance. This
hands
is
down.
this is why we have so much respect for Coke Studio Bangla.
Absolutely.
This is what we love. The purpose, the meaningfulness.
Yeah, yeah. And what better tool than art, as you mentioned? What better tool in any form or shape? Be it music, be it poetry, be it a small snippet that you could write for yourself, even for yourself, even not if it's not for the audience, just for yourself. And probably yes, you are completely on point with that. The kind of tools that they have given to the youth and how they are empowering them is commendable. But I think there is one special mention that I want to make about one of the instrumentalists. I mentioned Muhammad Faisal, um, but who was on the drums? The drums part was actually done pretty well as well.
Wadid Mahmood.
Maybe Wadid Mahmood. Yeah, V drums. It mentions V drums. So maybe
Vertical
Wadid
drums.
Mahmood.
Tum,
Yeah,
tum, tum.
yeah, yeah. V drums. Exactly. Wadid Mahmood.
Right.
All right, but anyways, it was a fun listen. And I think Coke Studio Bangla has, I think I mentioned it in the last track as well, they have better frequency this time around for their audience. I mean, we like to listen to a lot of music coming out of Coke Studio Bangla, and they are releasing the tracks every 2 weeks. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get another track pretty soon. And yeah, can't wait to listen to more tracks from this particular season. This particular season has already been a banger for me. I mean, three tracks, all three of them are basically slightly for me personally, level above the last season. Obviously, with every passing season, you introduce new things. So it is lovely experience. But yeah, thank you so much for experiencing this track with us, and we'll catch up on the next one. Take care. Goodbye.
Bye bye.